What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video I will be showing you guys Charlotte apartments, and I should emphasize Charlotte luxury apartments because I don't want you getting the impression that these are the only apartments in Charlotte, but I did want to show you some of the nicest luxury apartments that this city has to offer. And no, I'm not apartment hunting, but I'm gonna label it that because I want you guys to see all different types of apartments, and if I was apartment hunting, I'd probably be looking at a few of these different areas, and I just wanted to show you guys kind of what you can get in a city like Charlotte, and these are going to be some of the more expensive ones. If you're from anywhere further north than this, these are gonna be pretty inexpensive to you. Like if you're from New York, if you're from Boston, even DC, these are not gonna be that expensive to you, so I think it'll be really interesting so that you guys can see what you get for your money. I went with a friend who actually was apartment hunting, so I was like, let me tag along with you because you're going to look at apartments, and so I want to make a video. And so we kind of tag teams with that, and she ended up choosing one that I didn't show you in this video. Very happy for her. So anyways, we're just gonna get started. In order to understand Charlotte, the way that I view it is that it's like one little city, and then there's a lot of different neighborhoods around it. There's Uptown, which is where all the buildings are, it's where the skyline is, it's where a lot of offices are, and we don't call it downtown, we call it Uptown. So your downtown would be our Uptown pretty much. There's different neighborhoods around the city. So there's South End, which is my personal favorite neighborhood. It's where I used to live when I was living in Charlotte in an apartment. So there's South End, which is full of breweries and restaurants and bars and now shops and stores. It's just been a very hot spot for the past few years now, but it has changed dramatically. And then there's Dilworth, and Dilworth is kind of like the bougier aunt of South End. She's been there for a while, she's made her money, you know, it's more of like posh families living in Charlotte that live in Dilworth, I would say. But it's very quaint and it's cute, and it's right next to South End, but it has a little bit of a different feel to it. Plaza Midwood is like the Lower East Side of Manhattan, but for Charlotte. You have Noda, which is, I would say, kind of like an East Village / Brooklyn feel for Charlotte, where it's also a little bit more hipster. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of coffee shops there. There's some stores that are coming in. So those are just some of my favorites. There's other ones. There's Wesley Heights. There's Belmont. You know, there's other areas around Charlotte, so please don't come for me if I missed them. I'm just gonna get into the apartment tour and show you guys what I saw. So the first one is in South End, and I'm actually gonna show you guys two apartments in South End. South End, like I said, is my absolute favorite area. It is just so much fun. There's so many young people, and this one is really, really nice. It sits on a corner of two really busy roads. It has the light rail on it. So the light rail is a trail where you can walk along, but it's also our public transportation. So you are literally right there where the train runs. So when you enter the apartment, you see the living room and the kitchen, which is very common. This type of setup is super common in Charlotte apartments, especially the luxury buildings. The kitchen is a very big kitchen with a ton of storage. This one I think had the most storage of any kitchen that we saw. They utilized all of their space, and it also had a coat closet, which you will be seeing in all of these apartments, even if I didn't show it. Every single apartment had a coat closet, and it also had in-unit washer dryer, and so that's a huge perk. So I loved the all-white kitchen. I thought it gave it a very modern look, but sometimes I don't like that too modern looks. Not as sleek as this white kitchen was. I feel like it doesn't give the most homey vibe. The living room is big enough to fit a couch and a TV, and it was a really nice size, and then it led you out to the balcony, and the balcony you do kind of see the city, but really it's just like the Publix next door that you're really going to be looking at, but of course it depends on which unit you take. The closet was really big, so all of these closets have been pretty big. Bathroom was a very simple, nice size bathroom with a lot of storage, and the bedroom was a very basic size as well. So pretty basic apartment. The amenities is where it gets really different. So the pool area and the outside area was so nice. It was huge. They had so many spaces to entertain. They had grills, they had the pool area where a lot of people honestly were. They also have a lot of indoor lounges. So the lounges, they had so many places where you can rent out to throw parties, places where you could have caterers. They said that a lot of mornings they'll do events for the residents where they'll bring in like a chef or they'll bring in a restaurant, and they'll just let their residents come down and eat. Like the other day, I'm pretty sure they said that they had sushi and they delivered from this amazing sushi restaurant called Oku, and it was just catering for free for the residents. For the one bedroom that we saw, the day that I toured, the price was $1450 in the 1400s. But of course that can go up, it can go down. Now the next one that we saw was in Dilworth, and like I said, this is an older area of Charlotte, but I by no means would call this one super old. Building was an older building compared to the city of Charlotte, which means it was built, I believe, in 2006. Not old in comparison to the world, but old in comparison to Charlotte for apartment buildings. I lived in a building in New York that was built in 1905, and now I'm calling this 2006 building old, but it's all relative. So this one was a lot older. It was kind of off of a side street. It wasn't on a main street, and it had a lot of trees around it. So it was like a really cute little kind of pocket. So it definitely wouldn't be loud at night. And you could tell that the amenities and the luxury feel of it just wasn't there. It felt very small when you walked in and pretty dim, I would say. It wasn't like that bright, welcoming feeling. But when you first walked into the apartment, the first thing I noticed was all of the carpet. There was carpet everywhere. And I'm not a carpet fan. I really, really do not love carpet. I would prefer hardwood everywhere. So this one had a carpet everywhere except for the kitchen. The kitchen was pretty small, but it got the job done. Like, I wouldn't complain about the kitchen at all, but it was a little bit narrow and didn't have as much storage as the other places. And this one that I saw was actually a 2-bedroom. So they didn't have any 1-bedrooms available, so I did see this 2-bedroom. And then 2 bedrooms were one to the right and one to the left, and they were about the same size. They were a little dark. I didn't go that late. Even with the huge windows, I think just the positioning of the building with a lot of trees made the apartment a little darker. And then the bathroom and the closet were pretty good sizes. They were pretty big. But my biggest weakness with this was just the carpet everywhere. I really, really hated it, and it gave me just a very old feel to it. And then the amenities were just not really there. They didn't have a pool, which honestly, I don't really use apartment pools that much. I feel like it's nice to have, but you don't actually use it that much. But they didn't have a pool, but they did have like a little rooftop where you could kind of hang out with people. And then the gym was very small. So I will say that that one was definitely my least favorite of all of the ones that I saw. And the 2-bedroom cost $1,700. So it definitely is a little inexpensive, but I thought it was pretty expensive for the amenities and for the location and for like what it was. I had previously lived in Charlotte. I lived in South End, and I lived in literally the best area of South End. And mine was also an older building, but the apartments were definitely more renovated, hardwood floors. I had a dining area. I had a huge living room. I had floor to ceiling windows, a huge kitchen with an island, 2-bed, 2-bath, and it was in the 1600s. So I was like, this is really overpriced for what it is, especially during COVID. I was really surprised that they had kept that price to be so high considering what you got. And this next one was back to South End. This next one I fell in love with. If I move to an apartment in Charlotte, North Carolina ever, I'm moving into this one. It was the nicest apartment I had ever seen in Charlotte. Right when you step in, it's just so beautiful. It's so light. I love that they had like a bohemian style, because a lot of apartments, if you even notice in this video alone or just in general, they have a very like, they shop all at the same furniture store. It's like a wholesale apartment furniture store, I swear, because they all look exactly the same. But this one made me look like I was in Free People. Like, it was so bohemian, it was so fresh, it was so cool. I just absolutely loved it. Walk in and it's just beautiful. They designed it to kind of be like a co-working space. So they did this before COVID ever happened, but they wanted you to be able to work from home from your apartment. So they designed the apartment in the hopes that people would be working from home and making it like a co-working space. It felt like a co-working space. There was desks everywhere, there were drinks, there was free coffee, there was like a refrigerator that was fully stacked. It was really, really, really nice for their residents. And they had like some benches, like some stairs that you can step up on that were kind of worked as benches with like cute little bohemian pillows, a lot of tables. You could rent out offices, and it was just first come, first serve. So there was like full-on offices that were not, they didn't charge you for them, and you could just rent them out. Like, it was so nice for privacy. And then, you guys, I've never seen this in any apartment building. They had a podcast studio. They had a podcast studio in the apartment. I was just like, I need to live here. I need to live here. It was so nice. I was like, wait, what? I was like, why do you guys have a podcast studio? Like, it blew my mind. I was obsessed. I loved it. And so that sold me before ever walking into the bedroom, walking to the apartment, and it is just beautiful. It's so nice. I loved how the island had the curve so you can fit an extra chair, and I just thought it made it look a little different. I love the all white cabinets with the black like handles and the black like accents. I thought it looked gorgeous. So much storage in the kitchen. Like it was so nice. They really made use of the storage, and I really liked that the sink was in the island. I thought that was a little different than what I usually saw. The living room was really big. It stepped out into a balcony. The view of this specific apartment wasn't anything special, but of course it depends on your unit. And the balcony was just a good size. You could just have like a few friends over and step outside there, nothing too crazy. The bedroom was a very decent size. You could fit a king size bed, which I thought was really nice. And then the closets were really spacious. They were not custom closets as other apartments had, but I did enjoy the closet size. I thought it was really big, and I loved the bathroom with the subway tile backsplash. So I thought that was really, really nice. And then the amenities of this building, aside from the co-working space, were just off the charts. So the pool area has cabanas. And I'm like, what, am I at a resort or at an apartment? So it had cabanas, people were out there working. It was such a nice pool. It had like pizza ovens where you could make pizza. It had grills, like it was just so nice. And then the gym was really, really, really big. So the gym was big. It was super, super nice. I loved it. And then it also had an outdoor workout space with like some turf where you could work out outside. And then it also had like a fitness studio, like a yoga studio, and like resistance bands and like free weights and stuff like that. So it was really, really big. And yeah, I just absolutely love this space. They had a lot of places where you could lounge, where you could host, where you could do your work. But for me, the co-working space and like the podcast studio just sold me, and I fell in love. And that apartment was $16.10 a month, so it was one of the more expensive ones, but you got 2 months free, so it ended up being around $1,300 a month if you did it with the 2 months free. So honestly, amazing deal. I think it was really inexpensive for everything that you get with it. And then the next one, I went to Uptown, which a lot of people might think that Uptown is the nicest place to live. It's the place where everyone wants to live, but personally, Uptown Charlotte is full of offices, and there's honestly not that much to do. There are a few fun bars, but now no one's going to them. Uptown Charlotte, I personally wouldn't move to. It definitely gives you a city feel, but there's not that much going on. So like South End and Dilworth and Plaza and all of these other areas are just so much more fun and lively, I think, than Uptown. But I wanted to show you a true like Uptown city apartment. So now this one was really weird because you walk in and it's like an office lobby, so then you have to check in there, and then they send you up to the apartment, and then there's another lobby at the apartment. So the lobby of the apartment is on like the 12th floor, and it wasn't homey at all. Like I felt very like uppity. Like I don't know, I really didn't like it. I thought it felt very not homey. The gym was right off of the lobby, so I thought that was a little strange, and it was just like a decent sized gym, nothing crazy. And then we got to the room, and the apartments are huge. I feel like if you have a family and you are looking for an apartment that fits multiple people, this is it, because it has separate areas for the kitchen, for the dining room, for the living room, which I think a lot of apartments honestly don't have. A lot of them you just walk in and you kind of see the whole thing. So this one was really big, which was nice, and it had floor to ceiling windows, and you got a view of the city, and it had a balcony. The bedroom was pretty big, and the closets were absolutely gigantic, and this wasn't even the biggest one bedroom. They even had bigger ones. So I think for the size, it was really great. Like if you're looking just for a big apartment, this one was great, and it felt very luxurious in the sense of like very like Uptown, but honestly I didn't think it was that nice. And then the rooftop, they had a lot of rooftop lounges, so that was really nice, kind of like a 360 of the whole city, but you're at the very top. You could see the Bank of America Stadium. I was like, you don't even have to pay tickets for the football game, you could just like watch it up here. So I thought that was really cool how it was in the center of the city, and you really could see the entire city from up there. And the pool was like right next to the Duke Energy building, so it was like a really cool view. Like if people are at the office, they can like just see me tanning down here. Like it was like a direct view from the Duke Energy building. So that was really cool, but it just wasn't for me. I would never live there, and it was very, very, very expensive. One bedrooms can cost as much as $3,000 in that building, and I'm like, who do you think you are? This apartment that I looked at was around $1,900. So pretty expensive, and I personally think because of the area and because of like how not homey it felt and like the amenities weren't that great, my take on it. So no offense if you do, I think it's just my personal preference. So those were the apartments that I wanted to show you, but if you guys do want to see other ones, please let me know. Again, these are luxury buildings. You do not have to pay this much money to live in Charlotte. Charlotte is definitely getting more expensive, but it is still affordable for a lot of people. I had a friend that lived in a townhouse. It was 2 bedrooms and I'm pretty sure 2 bed, 1 bath, but her share of the apartment was $500 for a townhouse with a parking spot in an amazing area. So it doesn't have to be expensive. I just wanted to show you the nicest apartments that I personally found in Charlotte, and I hope that you guys liked them. And if you guys want more of these, let me know. And then if you guys want more like different levels, maybe houses that you can rent in Charlotte and kind of seeing the price, or houses that you can buy and seeing the price. I'm getting really into kind of like looking into real estate, not as a job, but just for like to show you guys, because I feel like it's super interesting while I'm home. And yeah, again, this was not my own apartment hunt. I will not be moving into an apartment here, but I did want to show you guys so you guys got an inside scoop. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.